Bouldering developed as a way for people who are climbing the routes and the big walls in Yosemite to kind of practice on their days off. Basically, because it's these walls that are shorter and closer to the ground, they can try out different types of holds and movements before they apply them to the big walls. Bouldering, as you see, is a lot shorter walls, roughly about 10 to 15 feet. So the climbing's totally different. Instead of endurance plus 2 or 3 hard moves, it's nothing but like a sequence of 5 or 6 more dynamic, engaging moves. Now, before you start bouldering, there's 2 safety principles you need to understand before you actually get on the wall. One is how to fall correctly. If you notice, there's no ropes, or we're not wearing harnesses now, so if you climb to the top, you are pretty much going to drop down, unless it's a top-out boulder where you go over the top. In this gym, it's not, so as you're climbing up, when you fall, you want to make sure you land onto this nice crash pad, this big mat down here. And when you fall, you never want to land straight-legged or lock your knees. That's going to cause shock loading to your joints. You actually want to allow your body to kind of compress like an accordion. Land on your feet, you're going to compress your legs, and you're actually going to roll back onto your back and let your body naturally dissipate the energy. So if you're climbing, especially if you're climbing something that's a little overhung and you have the potential of falling onto your head or neck, you want to have a friend or someone spot you. What a spotter does is all they're doing is putting their hands up, they're watching the climber as they go, and all your goal or attempt is to actually lead the climber back down to the pad if they fall. Sometimes when you do a big move or whatever, you might be swinging one way to the other. That's why you have a spotter to help guide you back to the mat so when you land appropriately. For spotting, I always like to keep my fingers together. Obviously, if they're wide apart, a person falling could bend back a finger pretty easily. And when you're spotting females, it's a little different. Females, you're going to spot kind of around the hip area because they're lower center of gravity. And males, you're going to spot up towards the upper shoulders. So when they're falling, if they're going to topple back on you, you simply are going to push upright to keep them upright, prevent them from landing on their neck. So I know we talked about static movements with route climbing. So when you're climbing boulder problems, a lot of the movements can tend to be dynamic, which is why there's this rating system. The rating system here is a V system, starts with V0. Now what that means is a V0 is equal to about a 510 AB. So obviously the entry level is a little bit steeper than it is for routes, which can start at a 5.4.